For the company retreat, they just had to pick the notoriously creepy Wailing Mountain. I tried my best to talk them out of it, but one of my male co-workers insisted, even saying, "What's there to be scared of? We men were born to protect women." Turns out, he immediately went and posted online calling us dumb pigs, saying that once we were in the middle of nowhere, he'd play with us, kill us, and then bury us wherever. What a coincidence. We were thinking the exact same thing. With the end of the year approaching, the company organized a retreat. A few of the guys suggested we go to Wailing Mountain, which had recently become a hot spot for thrill seekers. I hear that place is seriously messed up. It'll be a rush. And it's supposed to be totally untouched wilderness. We might even see some wild animals. Seeing their excited faces, I exchanged a hesitant glance with the only other woman in the office. Wailing Mountain has the highest accident rate in the entire state and is known as the most haunted peak around. Tour groups were banned from going there long ago. A few years back, some gutsy adventure bloggers tried to live stream an exploration, and they all vanished without a trace. It's the holidays. Why would we go to a place like that? Besides, what if something happens? My coworker Jake didn't like that. He slammed a folder down on the table. "You guys are just cowards. What could possibly happen on a hike? Besides, you've got us guys here. Men are born to protect women. If anything goes down, we'll handle it. What are you afraid of?" And another thing, he added, suddenly grinning and lowering his voice. "The budget the company gave us is pretty generous. A trip there will cost next to nothing. We can just split the rest of the cash and go home for the holidays with a nice bonus. How great is that?" The office went silent. Our boss is a progressive trust fund kid who's always saying we should live in the moment and not waste our lives working. To make sure we all bought into his philosophy, he canceled everyone's year-end bonuses and replaced them with this company retreat. Seeing that he had everyone's attention, Jake pressed his advantage. I did the math. A week at Wailing Mountain will cost us less than $2,000. We can split the rest of the money. That's way more than any year-end bonus. So, anyone else object? There are 6 of us in the office. Besides me and the other woman who both raised our hands, everyone else tacitly agreed. The next second, Jake spoke up again. For the sake of unity, anyone who doesn't go doesn't get a cut of the money. The other woman instantly lowered her hand. Then it's settled. We meet Monday morning. Anyone who doesn't want to come can go home for the holidays now. I guess some people who live in luxury apartments don't care about this little bit of cash. He shot me a contemptuous look, and I glared right back. When I first joined the company, Jake was incredibly friendly and even offered to drive me home all the time. That all changed the day he found out I lived in the city's most luxurious apartment complex. His attitude did a complete 180. "We all make, what, 3 or 4 grand a month? And you're single. Where do you get the money to live in a place like that?" From that day on, he's gone out of his way to target and ostracize me. But what he doesn't know is that my apartment building is a well-known haven for murderers. Our monthly rent is paid in the corpses of evil men. And coincidentally, our favorite dumping ground is the very same Wailing Mountain they're all so excited about. Even though few people ever go there, the bodies have been piling up, and the smell is bound to attract suspicion eventually. So this time of year is when we residents organize a group to go and clean up the bodies. If we run into my co-workers while we're there, things could get really awkward. After wrestling with the decision, I signed up for the retreat anyway. As for the 4 bodies I need to turn in by the end of the year, I'll just have to figure that out when I get back. After a 2-day break, we were on a bus to Wailing Mountain early Monday morning. My coworker Mia and I were the only girls on the bus. While everyone else was asleep, I secretly passed her the pepper spray I'd brought. Mia gasped. "What did you bring this for? You don't actually believe there are wild animals out there, do you?" I glanced at the men scattered around the bus and lowered my voice. "That place is remote. We might not even have a signal. It's just the 2 of us girls. We have to be careful no matter what." She finally seemed to get my hint, but then she frowned and pushed the spray back at me, annoyed. "They're our co-workers. Why would they try to hurt us? I don't know what kind of people you've been hanging around with to even think something like that." She wasn't exactly quiet, and Jake, sitting in front of us, immediately turned around. "What's wrong?" What are you guys talking about? I tensed up, but luckily Mia didn't rat me out. She just waved her hand and said we were talking about a TV show. Don't just talk. I've got a ton of snacks here. I bought them just for you. Go ahead, have some. Jake handed over a big bag of chips and then comfortingly reassured Mia. Don't worry too much. I did my research beforehand. It's winter, so there won't be any wild animals. And even if there are, we men will be in front. We'd protect you with our lives. He only said you, pointedly leaving me out of it. I couldn't be bothered to listen anymore. I grabbed my bag, moved to the very back of the bus, and started scrolling through posts from the area on the dark web. Even us murderers have KPIs to meet. The apartment has strict rules. We can only kill outlaws or the worst of the worst. So we often scour the dark web for targets, looking for nearby animal abusers or creeps who film people in secret. It's a good way to meet our year-end quota. But as soon as I opened the site, a familiar face popped up on my screen. It was Jake. Judging by his clothes, the picture was from today. The background was the bus window. Underneath was a line of text. Taking my dumb bitch co-workers to Wailing Mountain. A bag of chips was all it took to tame one. Once we're in the middle of nowhere, we can do whatever we want, right? Any of you guys want to join? Sign-ups start tonight, so be quick. The post was getting a lot of traction. People in the comments were offering up ideas. A few tried to talk him out of it, but the original poster just shot them down. So what if it's a crime? Who's gonna know? This place is already dangerous. When we're done with them, we'll just find a spot to bury them. Say it was an accident, and no one will ever find out. A chill ran down my spine. I was about to click on his profile when the bus lurched to a stop. The moment I turned off my phone, a face appeared, reflected on the dark screen. Jake was staring right at me, a strange, twisted smile on his face. What are you waiting for? Time to get off. I swallowed hard, looking at my coworkers standing outside and waving at me. A cold dread I couldn't explain washed over me. If it were just Jake, I could handle him. But if all four guys were in on it, our chances of escape were slim to none. The priority right now was to get Mia on my side and stay vigilant. I looked up, searching for Mia, only to see her surrounded by the guys. They had already taken her luggage, and Jake had his arm wrapped protectively around hers. She was clearly the center of attention. Seeing the knowing looks they exchanged, my heart sank. Now I was sure of it. They were all in this together. During a break, I quickly pulled Mia aside and showed her the screenshot I'd taken from the dark web. When we start hiking up the mountain, let's the two of us hang back, and then make a run for it. The bus that brought us here probably hasn't left yet. As long as we're not seen, we can get out of here safely. Mia's expression shifted from shock to horror, but the next second, she slapped my hand away. Why should I believe you? For all I know, you photoshopped this to frame everyone. Her words stunned me into silence. For a moment, I didn't know what to say. She just shot me a nasty look. You're just jealous because everyone's paying attention to me now, aren't you? What? You think you're the only one who gets to be the company's little princess? When you first started, everyone fawned over you. Now it's my turn, and you can't handle it. I get it, but you don't have to stoop this low. Her eyes were sharp and disdainful as she shoved my phone back at me. Girls help girls. I'll keep your little secret this time, but if you pull something like this again, I'm telling everyone. I stood there, stunned, for a long time, almost laughing at the absurdity. The guys were obviously treating us differently to pit us against each other. She fell for it hook, line, and sinker, and now she has the nerve to say girls help girls? You can't save someone who's determined to dig their own grave. All I could do was respect her decision and wish her the best. The break was over soon. One of the co-workers announced he'd found a wooden cabin with all its furniture intact, a perfect place to spend the night. I didn't have time to run, so I had to grit my teeth and follow them. But when we got there, I froze. This yard, this cabin, wasn't this the old house we used to dispose of the bodies? My co-workers were ecstatic, marveling at the place. Look at that paint, it looks brand new. And this yard, the flowers and grass are growing so well. What a great spot. A wave of nausea hit me. Of course it was. Every time we dismembered a body, we'd get blood all over the walls. The only way to cover it up was with coat after coat of paint. In the yard, it was full of countless buried limbs and torsos. With all that natural fertilizer, of course the flowers would grow well. Of all the cabins on this mountain, how did they pick this one? The other killers from my building were due to arrive any minute. What would happen if they ran into each other? As I was worrying, Jake called everyone over to the table and poured each of us a cup of coffee. After a tense day, the aroma of coffee was genuinely calming. But as I lifted my cup, I caught a whiff of something strange. As a professional killer, I knew that smell all too well. Someone had put roofies in my cup. I could feel their eyes on me. I calmly set the cup down and clutched my stomach. Oh no, my stomach suddenly hurts really bad. You guys go ahead and drink, I'm going to the bathroom. But as I passed by Mia, I grabbed her arm. Before I could speak, I remembered her selfish attitude from before and quickly changed my approach. I just saw someone put something in your coffee. You need to find a chance to dump it out and get a new cup. I have no reason to joke about this. Believe me or don't. Seeing the grim look on my face, Mia finally showed a flicker of fear and nodded vigorously. I understand. Thanks for telling me. I let out a breath of relief. If she was actually willing to believe me and dump the coffee, it meant I'd made the right choice. After all, we were up against 3 adult men. Having an ally, any ally, was better than nothing. But my relief was short-lived. When I came out of the bathroom, I saw Mia acting suspiciously. She was swapping our cups. An icy chill washed over me. I was so glad I hadn't told her the whole truth. I couldn't believe that not only was she refusing to see reason, but she was actively trying to harm me. An idiot like that deserved whatever was coming to her. I wasn't going to help her again. Seeing me approach, Mia immediately picked up her cup. I already got a new coffee. Thanks for the heads up. Let's have a toast. With that, she tilted her head back and drained the cup, then stared at me intently. I smirked, sniffed my own cup to make sure it was clean, and drank it down. Jake and the others were already watching us like hawks. I needed to eat and drink up. I had to have energy for the show that was about to start. After a quick meal, I excused myself, saying I wasn't feeling well, and went to my room. To my surprise, Mia actually followed me, feigning concern. We were in the car for so long today. It's normal to feel dizzy and tired. I'll sleep with you tonight. I was done watching her act. I gave her a cold stare. I never said I was dizzy and tired. How did you know? Her face froze, and she let out an awkward laugh. I guessed. Still acting. She probably followed me because she knew I was supposed to be drugged and wanted a front row seat, right? We'll see who's watching whom. I pictured her being grabbed by Jake in a little while, and suddenly felt sick. As much as I enjoyed killing, I wasn't twisted enough to watch a live show like that. I quickly packed my bag, climbed out the window, and started heading down the mountain under the cover of darkness. Mia chased after me from behind, grabbing my arm tightly. Where are you going? Why didn't you say anything to Jake and the others? I shook her off forcefully, rolling my eyes in annoyance. I told you they were bad news. If you don't believe me, go on back to them. I'm not sticking around for this. No. You can't leave. I had lost all my patience. I shoved her away. Get lost. Aren't you tired of pretending? If you want to die, fine, but don't drag me down with you. The push sent Mia stumbling. Her face twisted into a snarl, the act completely gone. You bitch, how dare you push me? You've already been drugged. Where do you think you're going? Just because everyone doted on you for a while. You really think you're a princess? You need to know that even when it comes to being targeted, you're second in line after me. The chance to enjoy this tonight was a gift from me to you. You can't just run off. Her grip was painful. I kicked her hard. To my surprise, Mia just collapsed onto the ground, her face an unnatural shade of red. The drug was clearly starting to take effect. But she still stared at me defiantly, even tilting her head back to scream. Jake. Come quick. This bitch is trying to run. Her voice grew weaker. Panting, Mia finally realized something was wrong. Wait. I feel so hot, and my vision is blurry. What's happening? I switched the cups. You were supposed to get the drug. Why is this happening to me? I raised an eyebrow at her and couldn't help but let out a whistle. Because I was the one who was supposed to be drugged, you idiot. Footsteps approached from the distance. I watched Mia's face turn from green to white, her eyes widening in terror. No, don't call them. Don't let them come over here. I shrugged, covered my ears, and turned to scramble up a nearby slope. A moment later, Jake's voice echoed from below. Damn it, how is it you? I was planning on letting the guys from the forum have you after we were done. Who knew you'd be such a slut, practically begging to be drugged? I don't really have an appetite for you. But since the other bitch ran off, I guess you'll do if I cover your face. Through the tall grass, I saw Mia desperately point in the direction I'd gone. But before she could speak, Jake clamped a hand over her mouth and slapped her across the face. Shut up. It's disgusting watching you squirm around like that. Have you ever even taken a shower? If that other bitch wasn't so smart, we would have never bothered with you. We were just afraid she tried to win you over. Mia was beaten until her nose was bloody and her face was swollen. Crying, she mouthed something towards me. I could make out the words. Save me. Dream on. Jake told the other guys to search the area for me while he walked towards Mia. You're ugly, but your body's not bad. He took off his shirt and threw it over Mia's head. From now on, you're that bitch, Chloe. Got it. Then he sat on top of Mia and started punching her, screaming my name with every blow. Bitch. You ignored me. You live in a fancy apartment. You ruined my plans. You acted so high and mighty. You damn bitch. I'll kill you. I was about to leave, but hearing that filled me with a burning rage. Excuse me? I didn't do a damn thing to you. Seeing that he was alone, I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed a nearby stick and walked over. Jake was so focused on the beating that he didn't notice me approach. By the time he turned his head, I had already swung the stick down. With a loud thwack, he cried out in pain and fell backward onto the ground. Before he could say another word, I yanked off my sock and stuffed it in his mouth. Who are you calling names? Go on, keep talking. If you're done, then it's my turn. I stomped on his stomach, mimicking what he had just done, cursing with every hit. You bastard, you wear slippers in the office. You criticize us every day. You touched my waist when you were drunk. You insisted on dragging everyone to this godforsaken place. You have a filthy mouth. You're a piece of shit. A moment later, I felt something wet beneath my foot. Jake had pissed his pants from the pain. Disgusted, I stepped back and swung again at the source of the evil. Can't even control your own piss. What do you need this thing for? That blow was so hard I thought I heard the sound of eggs breaking. Jake couldn't hold it in any longer. Even with my sock in his mouth, his muffled screams were unstoppable. Help! Help me! Time was running out. I quickly dropped the stick and prepared to flee. But just as I turned, a hand grabbed my ankle. Mia's face was swollen like a pig's head as she stared at me, trembling. Please save me. Take me with you. I looked at her, feigning a difficult decision, and pouted. But you called me a bitch. Her eyes widened, and she knelt on the ground, her clothes in tatters. I'm the bitch. I'm the real bitch. I was blind. I didn't know any better. Please, I'm begging you, save me. If you leave me here, they'll kill me when they get back. We were co-workers, after all. The noise was giving me a headache. I picked my nose and flicked a booger at her. So, what does that have to do with me? A co-worker might save you, but I'm just a cold-hearted, ruthless bitch who's only going to say bye-bye. With that, I smiled and waved at her. Mia's face contorted like something out of a horror movie. She convulsed and grabbed my arm, but I kicked her away again, leaving her to lie there on her back, screaming. As I started to turn away, my leg suddenly gave out. A sharp pain, like a knife piercing my skin, almost made me black out. Jake, barely hanging on, grinned at me through a bloody face. If I'm going to die, we die together. You're not getting away either, you bitch. The sound of footsteps was getting closer. I gritted my teeth, pushed myself up, and limped away. A light rain began to fall. The pain in my leg intensified, and I left a trail of blood behind me. I can't believe I let that son of a bitch get me. At this rate, the wound would only get worse. I probably wasn't going to make it out of here. I leaned against the wall of a small cave, managing to build a fire to regain some feeling. I pulled out my phone, hoping to call for help. The next second, A message notification popped up. It was from Jake. Didn't expect this, did you? I'm not dead yet. And look what we found in the cabin. The attached photo showed a girl moving a corpse. The side of her face, illuminated by a light, looked exactly like me. My heart skipped a beat. I remembered the last time I was here cleaning up, a neighbor had found the victim's Polaroid camera and snapped a few pictures of us. I didn't want mine when we left, so I just stuck it on the wall. I never thought anyone would actually come here, let alone that Jake would find it. Before I could reply, a few more messages came through. So that's how a little bitch like you can afford to be so rich. Your hands aren't so clean, are they? You dare call the cops about what happened today, and we'll see who goes down. Neither of us will get away with it. There are 3 of us. We'll find you sooner or later. If you want to live, come back to the cabin. Maybe I'll let you live. In my current situation, I really couldn't call the police. There were too many bodies buried here. If they really launched an investigation, the consequences would be unimaginable. But for Jake to think I'd just obediently walk back there to die was pure fantasy. Trying to negotiate with a killer? Did he really think he was worthy? I pulled the bottle of cheap liquor from my bag and poured it over the wound. The skin sizzled and smoked from the burning sensation. Just then another message popped up. Hunter Squad, we've arrived at Wailing Mountain. Still meeting at the cabin? Can't do it today. Chloe said her company is having a retreat there, told us to steer clear. How's Chloe's retreat going? Why hasn't she said anything in the group chat? I silently took a photo of my injured leg and sent it to the group. The chat immediately erupted. Change of plans. New prey has appeared. Everyone meet at the base of the mountain. I had originally planned on just getting through this retreat peacefully. I didn't expect these people to not only have no morals, but to be worse than animals. It just so happens I need to deliver some holiday gifts. Our building requires 4 bodies from each of us by the end of the year, and I was worried I wouldn't have time to finish my quota. And just like that, the solution presented itself. After a quick patch-up job on my wound, and finding a stick to use as a crutch, I pushed myself up and started heading down the mountain. I was only halfway down when I heard quiet sobs. It was a man's voice. I'm sorry, Mia. I'm useless. I didn't dare to fight back. They forced me to do it. When you get to the other side, please don't come back for revenge. The voice was all too familiar. I peeked around the corner. Sure enough, it was my other male co-worker, Leo. There were 5 people in our department. Besides me, Mia, and Jake, the other 2 guys were Leo and Alex. Leo was in his early 30s, short, with thinning hair. He usually just followed Jake around like a puppy, fetching him tea and lighting his cigarettes, always looking meek and submissive. But right now, he was hunched over on the ground next to a freshly dug pit. Beneath him was Mia's desecrated corpse. He was kissing Mia's dead body. I slapped a hand over my mouth. No matter how many bloody scenes I'd witnessed, I couldn't stomach something this bizarre. Mia was completely naked, with barely a patch of undamaged skin on her body. Her face was so bruised and swollen, she was almost unrecognizable. Yet Leo was lying on top of her, greedily kissing and biting that mouth, which was covered in blood and other strange fluids, even sucking on it. I couldn't tell if it was depravity or some twisted form of love anymore. The sound of me gagging escaped before I could stop it. Leo immediately shot up, looking warily in my direction. Who's there? Who is it? I held my breath. But then Leo grabbed a torch and started waving it towards my hiding spot. In my current condition, if he caught me, it was over. But the next second, I heard the screech of car brakes from down the mountain. My people were here. I had sent them pictures of my co-workers, so they should be able to recognize him. Gritting my teeth, I grabbed a rock and threw it at a tree. Leo immediately raised the torch higher, the flame illuminating the upper half of his face. The next moment, an arrow flew through the air and embedded itself squarely in his shoulder. I seized the opportunity, grabbed a handful of mud, and as he was about to scream, I shoved it into his mouth. A few moments later, several figures in black masks emerged from the woods. Hey, I can't believe I missed his head. Chloe, is this the bastard who hurt you? Want us to finish him off now? Holy crap. This son of a bitch pissed himself. Leo was trembling from the pain. The mud was stuck in his throat, not only preventing him from making a sound but also making it hard to breathe. His face was turning purple. Save me. We can save you, I said, taking a deep breath. Trade the lives of the other two for yours. Are you willing to do that? Leo nodded frantically. We tied him up and dragged him to another cabin. By the time we had everything set up, he had passed out from the pain. I took out a prepared syringe and injected it into his thigh, then splashed a basin of cold water on his face. All right, let's see what you can tell us to save your life. Leo's face was chalk white. He looked up, trembling. You can't go back there. Jake and the others found a bunch of weapons from somewhere. They even set up traps to ambush you. I was unimpressed. Is that it? What else? He also secretly took pictures of you before. And they put a camera in the women's bathroom. Even if you get away, they'll use that to threaten you. I already figured that out. I reported the bathroom camera to the police before the retreat even started. We'll see who's threatening whom. I looked at him, bored, and smirked. So, you guys were buddies and all you know is a little gossip? How boring. Seeing me turn to grab a knife, Leo completely panicked. His eyes widened, and he suddenly screamed. Wait. I know another secret. I can't be 100% sure, but it's pretty much a sure thing. He glanced around nervously, and then lowered his voice conspiratorially. Our other co-worker, Alex, he's gay. And I think he's in love with Jake. That I did not expect. My fellow killers all leaned in, one of them even kindly handing Leo a cup of water. Do tell. It was last year. I left my wallet in the office and had to borrow Alex's phone, Leo said, a look of disgust on his face. I ended up seeing a bunch of movies on his phone, all with two men. The scenes were disgusting. I tried to back out in a panic, but I accidentally opened his photo album, and I found Alex had been secretly taking tons of pictures of Jake. This gossip was getting my blood pumping. The faces of my companions showed a mix of expressions. Damn, now I'm kind of shipping them. I rolled my eyes, the thought of that scene making me shudder. You can ship a cursed pairing like that? If I'm not mistaken, Jake is homophobic, right? I remember there was a movie with a gay theme that came out, and he was dry heaving all day. My info is explosive, right? Leo leaned in excitedly. And it's definitely true. You can let me go now, right? I nodded, untied the ropes around him, and gestured towards the door. We killers never go back on our word. You're free to go. Leo's expression was a twisted mix of disbelief and the thrill of escaping death. He turned and bolted out the door. You're really just letting him go like that? One of my neighbors asked, confused. I pointed back at the syringe on the floor. That wasn't an anesthetic I gave him. It was poison. It temporarily makes you forget any pain, but the toxin will start spreading in about 10 minutes. I never intended to let him live. Letting him go was just a way to make him die a little farther away. The sky had gone completely dark. I carefully disinfected the wound on my leg and took a few painkillers, finally feeling some strength return. So what's the plan now? We all sat around to discuss it. There are like a dozen of us. You think we're scared of those two? Let's just go kill them. Yeah, we designed all the traps in that house ourselves. Going there is like going home. Just say the word, Chloe, and we'll move out. But I slowly shook my head. You guys wait nearby. I'll go myself. And while I'm at it, I'll turn on the hidden cameras in the cabin. There's going to be a good show later. Once everything was ready, I expertly navigated past the traps around the cabin and slipped through a window into the back room. According to what Leo had said earlier, this was where Alex was resting. Hearing the noise, the person on the bed just rolled over. Leo, what took you so long? You were just burying a body. What's with the delay? The next second, a sharp knife was pressed against his neck. Alex froze. As his eyes adjusted to the moonlight and he saw my face, he didn't dare move. How did you get in here? I set up a ton of traps. The wound on my leg was still throbbing, but I let my hand go slack, dropped the knife to the floor, and started to cry. I can't do it. Alex, you should run. Alex was stunned by my bizarre behavior, sitting frozen on the bed. What are you talking about? Why should I run? You're the one who should be running, right? I can't believe you were foolish enough to come back and walk right into your own grave. But I just started shaking my head frantically, crying my eyes out. No, that's not it. Leo caught me and brought me back. Jake was going to kill me, but Leo said something to him, and he suddenly let me go. He said if I killed you, he'd let me leave. Kill me? Alex was completely bewildered. Why would Jake want to kill me? I don't believe it. Of course, I knew he wouldn't believe me. I took out the phone I'd swiped from Leo and handed it to him, my hand trembling. Because Leo showed him your phone. And he said something about you liking him. Jake just exploded. He kept saying how disgusting it was, and that he had to kill you. In an instant, Alex's face turned white as a sheet. How did my phone get here? He snatched it away like a madman, but as soon as he unlocked it, the secret photos of Jake popped up. A few were even of his private parts, and judging by the background, they were taken in the office bathroom. Alex couldn't sit still anymore. Any straight man would be furious to find out he was being spied on like this, especially someone like Jake. He had already killed Mia, killing him too would be nothing. I watched the expression on his face and started crying again. What do we do, Alex? Jake seems really angry. He even pulled a shotgun out from under the bed. Is he really going to kill you? Maybe we should run away together? But I think I heard him say that even if you ran, he wouldn't let you go. He said he'd tell your family everything. Yes, that's right. Alex was married and had a 3-year-old daughter. That's why I never would have guessed he was a closeted gay man. The moment I mentioned his family, Alex's expression changed. The fear and worry in his eyes were replaced by a cold, murderous intent. Everyone in the company knew how much Alex loved his daughter. He was even willing to spend half a year's salary to send her to the best kindergarten in the city. If Jake really exposed this, his wife would definitely divorce him, and he would never get custody of his daughter. I saw his hands clench into fists and quickly kicked the dagger on the floor towards him. We only have one knife between us. We can't beat him. We should run. But Alex suddenly stood up, staring grimly at the door. He's been beaten half to death. Who is he going to kill? Just then, there was a knock on the door, followed by Jake's icy voice. Alex, who are you talking to? Why do I hear a woman's voice in your room? Is it that bitch? Open the door. Before Alex could answer, I shouted at the door. We've decided to team up. It's 2 against 1, you're not going to kill us. Team up. Jake's voice was full of shock, clearly confused about what was happening. Alex, what the hell? You dare to team up with this bitch against me? You want to die? Hearing that, any lingering doubt Alex might have had vanished. He gripped the dagger tightly. If you don't want to die, then open this door. Or else I'll take care of you too. The door shook as it was rammed, and soon cracks appeared. I hid behind a cabinet, watching as Alex silently moved behind the door. The next second, the wooden door shattered with a loud bang, and Jake limped in, his bandaged face looking like a demon's. When he saw me, he immediately raised the shotgun in his hands. Bitch, this is all because of you. You're not getting away this time. Just wait here and die. But just as he stepped inside, Alex lunged from behind, raising the dagger and plunging it into Jake's back without hesitation. Ah! A scream like a pig being slaughtered echoed through the room. Jake's pupils constricted as he fell to the ground in shock. You fucking betrayed me. I'll kill your whole family. You dare mention my family again. Alex suddenly lost his mind, stabbing Jake's body again and again, his cold eyes stained crimson with blood. At the end, he even pulled down Jake's pants. I don't know if it was for revenge or out of desire, but he plunged the dagger into him from behind. The scene was truly bizarre. I couldn't hold it in any longer. I turned and threw up. The screams were deafening. Jake used all his strength to crawl forward, begging me for help. Quick, call the police, save me. Please, I'm begging you, save me. I nodded seriously and pulled out my phone. What's 911's number again? I can't remember. Jake stared at me in shock. The excruciating pain combined with the rage flooding his brain made him spit up a mouthful of blood. He died with his eyes wide open. Then Alex's movements stopped. His blood-red eyes turned to me. Now it's just you left. Only you know what happened here. I can't let you go back. He muttered as he walked towards me. But I just snapped my fingers nonchalantly. Guys, you can all come in now. In an instant, the dozen or so neighbors who had been waiting outside poured into the room. Compared to the small dagger in Alex's hand, my friend's weapons were a diverse collection of forks, crossbows, and someone even brought a chainsaw. Alex's grip on the knife instantly loosened, and he stumbled backward into a corner. "There are so many of you. You're ganging up on me. Is this fair?" One of my neighbors just laughed and revved the chainsaw. "Right now, fairness is in my hands. What do you think?" As they closed in, Alex, who was more rational than the others, turned and ran for the window, flipping himself outside. But a moment later, a series of screams, each more horrific than the last, echoed from the darkness. Those were the vicious dogs we had specially brought from our apartment building. We had intentionally filed their teeth to make their bite marks identical to those of a wild animal. After all, this absurd murder spree needed a scapegoat. And so, besides me, every single person who went on that retreat was gone. Not one survived. A week later, the police came to see me. My entire department had gone missing during the company retreat. Following the clues I provided, the police tracked them to Wailing Mountain. There, they found Jake and Alex's phones, along with the bodies of the others. The case quickly became clear. The suspects, Jake and his group, had planned to take their co-worker Mia to Wailing Mountain to kidnap and hold her captive. However, Mia discovered the plan and injured Jake in the process. Losing control, Jake killed Mia and ordered his co-worker Leo to bury the body. Leo, terrified, tried to leave but was poisoned by Jake. Later, Jake discovered that another co-worker, Alex, had been secretly photographing him. He threatened to expose Alex, who in a rage killed Jake. But while trying to escape down the mountain, Alex was mauled to death by wild animals. When the story broke, the top comment online was just two simple words: "Serves them right." As for me, since I hadn't participated in the retreat, I was the sole survivor. That's right, I didn't go on the retreat. I never signed up in the first place, I just got on that bus. The driver was an acquaintance from my apartment building, who naturally provided me with an alibi. Soon after, the company held a memorial service for them. But because all the ugly things they had done were exposed, almost no one from the company attended. Only I made a special trip, bringing paper money to burn for them. And not just that. I also bought paper handcuffs, clubs, and vicious dogs. After all, learning to be a decent human being is a tough lesson. They should have to keep studying, even on the other side. The end.